you know me.
It's time for the return of the Paro Pods. After a brief spat of COVID.
Yeah, sorry. As I know, on the last episode, we literally said, there's going to be no more breaks
I
or
was thinking
gaps
that.
or anything like that. I got COVID the week after that. So.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, we're gonna get back to it. We're gonna be, back to bi-weekly buying this. And it just fucking immediately just shat the bed and stumbled and fell.
It just fell apart. To be fair, my sickness on the day that we were supposed to record was the impetus for me to figure out that I had COVID. So if I hadn't, if I just powered through, we both would have had COVID.
Yeah.
And
and then what would we do?
And then we'd be in the exact same situation.
Yeah, we'd probably have to delay an episode.
But yeah, no, we're back. It's so ironic though. Fucking hell.
I know. Yeah,
I felt bad. I was like, oh fuck. It was like the end of the episode. We're like, don't worry, we'll be back regular time schedule next time. And then I just went and blew it all. Well, bad Bobs.
Yeah, man. There's a fucking continual.
There's a thread. There's a theme in this podcast
Yeah.
specifically about bad Bobs and getting coronavirus.
Yeah.
This is the third occasion.
And I was like, we don't really go out all that much. But yeah, every time we do, we try to go, a lot of times we try to go somewhere different. But every time that we do go bad Bobs, someone does end up getting COVID.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's from bad Bobs, but it is an interesting coincidence.
It's an unbelievable coincidence.
There's a correlation. There might not be a causation, but there's definitely a correlation.
There's a correlation there, which means it's a scientific fact that Bad Bob's is a shithole fucking infested with coronavirus. Do not go there.
It's in the rum.
It's in the clientele. It's people go there and the staff.
Smelly, sweaty
smelly
folks.
bastards. It's a petri dish. It's a germ factory or a virus factory.
Tell you what, there's a few germs walking around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including ourselves.
You know who you are, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, you.
You're a man, yeah. That's still not settled, by the way.
Meet me outside.
Meet me outside. We'll mates after, though.
Yeah,
Outside the Lucky Duck.
The Lucky Duck. What's your... Okay, right. Question for you before we discuss our recommended film.
Let's do it.
What is your favorite after, night out food?
After night out food? Toast. Definitely toast.
Yeah,
toast with a heap of butter.
That's actually... You know what? That's a show. That is that's the biggest shout of this podcast.
In the history of the Power
Yeah, in 124 episodes, that is the biggest shout that's ever been made.
Yeah.
It's got to be buttery. I think it's you need the soakage, but you need the vague buttery grease.
Yeah,
to help.
But not too much.
Not too much.
A
healthy dose.
After if you go Camden, then you can pop into Babylon, or you go to that pizza spot next to it,
Yeah.
And you get like a bag of chips, or you get the slice of pizza. It's just dripping with grease. But more than that, I start feeling a bit sick.
Yeah, bro. Oh man,
I start feeling a bit sick.
If I eat too much after a night out, I feel like arse. I feel so bad. I feel like I'm more likely to get sick if I eat after a night out.
Oh,
and I don't get sick often. But if I eat after drinking, game over, man. Game over. I made the work. So I started working in CX for the listeners, and on the discs they say disc only or shit like that.
Yeah.
And the guy standing beside me is like, "Oh, which one is it?" And I said disc only, man, disc only. And he actually did. He laughed. It was something. I think I said game only, man. Game only. That's what it was. It was game only, man. Game only. I don't even fucking butcher my own joke. The laughs were had though. But
in the moment,
the CX is already infesting me. It's already getting inside me.
Yeah. What's it like?
Fucking terrible references.
What's the retail? Is this your first retail job?
It's my first retail job. After I've worked. I've had a job at some stage or another since I've been 17, 18. I'm going to say 17 because I left school when I was 17, so I think I got reception work after that. Never did retail. Shit is easy.
Yeah.
Man, the only thing is I got to struggle with dealing with cunts walking in, but it's kind of funny.
What do you mean?
There was someone that came in the other day, giving out something. I was like, just look at the website. Like, I gotta give it out about like
And
the
the
shop.
CEX website is dog shit.
Oh yeah, it's like, just go through the website, bro. Like all the answers are there. I don't know where it is, but I know it's somewhere there.
Don't even know the URL.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually it's not even CEX.com. It's like
No, it's webuy.com.
Yeah, but what?
I have no idea. But if you look up CEX.com, it does come up.
Okay.
But like I just don't like people giving out. It's like it just doesn't faze me. I'm just like, oh, whatever. I don't fucking care. I think that's the real thing.
Yeah.
Is that like, well, obviously I do care about like, you know, serving customers and stuff like that. If someone comes to me like giving out to me about something, like I obviously care, but I don't care enough to get upset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I care.
Phase you,
Like
yeah.
I care enough to help you
Mm.
as much as I can and escalate it where it needs be. But I don't care enough about your problem to be upset myself.
You start bursting into tears.
I'm so sorry that you didn't get FIFA 13. Yeah, got called hippies as well.
Hippies.
Yeah, some guy stuck his head in when we were closing, being like, "Should you have FIFA?" I was like, "Which one?" He's like, "The new one." It's like, "No, we don't. It's for a second-hand shop." And he goes, "All right, hippies," and then just fucking walked away. He's like, that's a new one. I feel like hippies is not the right term for CX workers. I feel like they get called like emos and shit like that more.
Yeah, it's more of an emo thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
What's it like working there? The staff nice.
yeah, sound. Everyone's nice.
They're all sound.
Yeah. Everyone's sound. Like I think that's probably the benefit of it, that like everyone's sound
Mm.
and like haven't had any proper arseholes come in or anything like that.
Yeah. Do you
Like-
get like discounts on stuff?
15% off. Not bad. Like
Yeah, so it's normal price.
yeah. Oh yeah, some of the rules and stuff like that for like taking stuff in, I'm like, that's wild. Like you know the gradings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like an A grade is basically like it has to be like brand new. Like you
Yeah.
can't tell that it's been used, which is like extra. Like, and some people are walking in with like phones that are like cracked and shit, being like, I'm expecting an A grade for this. I'm like, why? Just because it works doesn't mean it's A grade.
Yeah, grow up.
Yeah, but yeah, it's grand. CX Life is good.
Not bad.
Our recommended film for this episode, before I forget, is The Third Part of the Night, 1971, directed by Andrzej Zulawski, set during the Nazi occupation of Poland, in which Michael witnesses the murder of his mother, wife, and child. He is hurled into a life that literally is not his own, a surreal world littered with trapdoors, doppelgangers, and wormholes. Where the fuck were the wormholes in that film?
Yeah.
Oh wait, was it? Anyway. It also tells the true untold story of a Nazi vaccine laboratory where Jews and members of the resistance were employed as feeders for parasites infected with typhus.
Yeah, I can't believe that's true.
Mad story.
Yeah. It's based on his dad's real life,
Yeah.
apparently.
What a fucked up life.
Yeah, the Holocaust wasn't great.
Yeah, hot take. Another hot take in this.
We're full of them.
Full of hot takes.
Full of it.
What do you think is your hottest film take?
My hottest film take. All Marvel films are shit.
I feel like that's a lot more accepted now.
Yeah, it's because we laid the fucking groundwork.
Yeah. Like,
Without us.
everything we say will eventually become true
Yes.
at some point.
Because we're like influencers.
Yeah, we unknowingly influence the universe of films.
The universe, it's the butterfly
The
effect.
landscape.
Yeah, we say it and then, 10,000 permutations later, all of a sudden Martin Scorsese's coming out saying the Marvel films are all dog shit, they're not real cinema. He got that from us.
She did. You heard off of me, who 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 heard on the power pod.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Exactly, yeah.
How many degrees of separation do you think you are away from Martin Scorsese?
10.
Isn't it? It is like everyone's like 10 or something. Yeah.
Maybe less.
Could be less.
Yeah.
How do you figure that out? Like, someone needs to make an app.
There will be an app. Don't worry.
Someone needs to make an app where, like, through Facebook or like Instagram followers or shit like that, it can tell you how many degrees of separation you are away from someone.
I'd say that already exists.
Probably does.
Yeah. There'd be I want one for like genealogy, even though I'd never participate in it, but like, I'm sure it does.
Would you ever get your like
No, I never
your
would.
genes tested?
I'd never get any of those ancestry tests, because then they can clone your DNA.
Mm.
Such a fucking ridiculous thing to fear, but like I don't like the idea of a private company owning my DNA. But yeah, would you get it done?
Nah.
No,
Nah.
you're not interested.
Nah.
What do you think? What do you think the results would be?
Like probably like 85% British, and I just don't want to know that.
I think Irish people are just generally it's like Irish. Every Irish person I know that's taken it is always like it's like 90% Irish, 95% Irish. One of the lads I know in work, he got it done. It was like really bizarre because he like shares same last name as me, and my last name would have like roots in France as well, to an extent, in like Brittany. But it ended up that he's like 10% Greek.
Valjean is a very French name, Mark.
Valjean, yeah, Jean Valjean.
Mark Valjean.
But it turns out he's like 10% Greek, and he was just very surprised by that. So maybe there's like a margin of error there or something. But like, yeah, you get random things in there. But I think, generally speaking, Irish people are pretty homogenous. You know?
Yeah,
a lot of
like,
inbreeding going on here.
My mom's side of the family is just pure Irish all the way through.
Yeah, same with my dad.
Whereas my dad's less so. So, yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. I've no idea. I'd imagine that it's mostly, like, obviously mostly Irish, but like a lot of, is it a worrying amount of English, I'd imagine, in my bloods.
Yeah, I know the Normans, you know.
Yeah,
they were all over the place.
Yeah, you know, French.
We're all Norman.
Also, very Normans is less comforting.
Less comforting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
look at them.
It sounds a bit more all the Normans these days.
Just look at them.
Just hate them. The Fitzes.
The Fitzes. The World Cup and all that shit.
Yeah.
You been watching the World Cup?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm watching the World Cup. Have you been watching?
No.
No.
Just keep checking the scores. I'll wait until I get to, like, you know, the quarterfinals, and then I'll start watching.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It's the like I like watching rugby. You know, I enjoy watching rugby, and I enjoy seeing Ireland win. But I like a good game of rugby in general. You know? Like between two good sides. I don't like watching fucking club rugby and all that stuff. But like the thing with the Rugby World Cup, apparently people are saying, rugby fans are saying, in my sphere anyway, they say this is one of the best World Cups ever. You know, this is so good. But then you watch every game, and every game plays out the exact same way, where the bigger team just like always wins. There's been one upset so far. Wales beat Australia, which was like basically
they didn't just beat them as well.
Yeah, they battered them, but like the battering wasn't expected, but they were expected to. It was expected to be at least a very, very even game because Australia have been terrible for a few years.
Yeah.
But
they got like a new coach or something just before the World Cup or something.
Yeah, Eddie Jones. He's a cunt. I hate that guy. I don't even follow rugby that much, but I just don't like that chap. He manages England. I just don't like him. But like, it's like every game kind of plays out the same way, where it's either a hammering and like, you know, it's New Zealand beating fucking Tahiti 150-0, or it's like it's a game between, you know, Tonga and South Africa, and it's like, oh, it gets to the half, and it's like 20-15 to South Africa, and everyone's like, oh, what a cracker we have on our hands here.
Yeah, it's like, South Africa wins.
Yeah, and then it's even for the first 15-20 minutes of the second half, and then South Africa score like 10 tries, and it ends like 60-30.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like the same thing. Like every single game is the exact same. The only the best game that I've seen is the Irish game.
Yeah.
Like the last Irish game. It's really good. Did you watch that?
Nah.
It was.
I was in work, and then I went to go get Indian food with Melissa.
Ah, very nice.
I was looking at the score on my phone.
yeah. It was intense. Very intense game.
Because Melissa doesn't give a fuck about rugby. I was like, oh shit, look at this.
yeah. Like, yeah, Orla loves rugby, so
yeah,
like, we always watch it. I COVID while that game was on, so I was watching it alone in my room while she watched it in the Camden. And
that's so grim.
I know, yeah, it was really grim. But then, yeah, it was such an intense game, such a proper like edge of your seat game. You're like,
it's like proper
like squeezing diamonds there between the legs.
Like it's fucking like World Cup final equivalent. Like that could be the World Cup final again.
Yeah, it could actually be the World Cup final.
I saw some major cope by South African fans.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, they meant to lose it because like playing against France is an easier game than playing against New Zealand.
Because of the point, yeah.
But it's also like, but France beat New Zealand. So how is that? How is playing the team that's better than the other team an easier game than playing the team that's worse?
Yeah. They're all COVID. It's because your man, France's best player, he broke his skull.
Yeah.
So he's out for a few weeks. But he might be back. He could be back for the quarterfinal. I'm not really sure, but he's like racing to get back. But like also like earlier today, your man, the manager or the coach of the South African team, he like had this quote where he was like, I'd much rather be in our position than Ireland's position, because if we lose by like I think 8 points to Scotland, we go out of the tournament. But like the whole premise of what he says, like, I'd rather be the team that lost one game than the team that's won all of their games. So what the fuck are you talking about?
No, yeah.
It's like, this doesn't make any sense.
It's like,
It
just
doesn't
cope,
make any
like,
sense. Yeah, pure cope.
Like I also saw something as well, like because I'm not really following it that much, but like they put on like 4 scrum halves because there's another scrum half that they wanted who couldn't make it or something or other. So if one of the scrum halves got injured, they could bring in the one that they actually wanted or some bollocks like that.
Yeah.
I was like, go fuck yourself, South Africa, of all this fucking bullshit tactics.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of toxicity. It seems. I don't know the rugby world, the rugby fan world either, but it seems to be a lot of like all the Southern Hemisphere lads, like Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. That's about it. It's like they're all very bitter about like anything about like any other team doing well, but like that's kind of like, how is the sport going to survive?
Yeah,
if
yeah.
It's just yous win again. Now Australia gone into the bin, but they're all like they like hate, like they actually genuinely hate like most of the other
Bro,
teams.
it's because they got nothing else. They're like, fuck
Yeah,
off.
it
They're like, fuck
literally
off
is.
Europe. You have like football and like every other sport. Let's just have this one thing.
Yeah, literally. And then South Africa. It's like it's just that's literally all they have, you know.
But it's also like, fuck you. Ireland doesn't have anything else either. We got boxing and that's it.
Yeah. This is our last chance
Yeah.
at like actually winning anything, I think. In like a grand international sporting sense of the word, you know. It's like this is the last chance we will ever have to. Maybe, you know, you build a dynasty after this. Maybe win the next World Cup, whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. Like, I believe.
I don't think.
I believe we can. I believe we can. I don't think we will though.
Yeah.
My heart says that we can. My head is like, nah.
Yeah.
We'll fuck it up somehow.
It's the kind of thing where they bottle it in like the last 10 minutes of the final versus South Africa, and then it's like, you know, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I could see that happening definitely, but like it would be great. It'd be a right old party now. In South Dublin, you know.
Would.
We have
no, it's just South Dublin.
we just have a huge party, you know. Everyone's singing Zombie now. It'd be great.
Oh man, those videos are crazy.
Yeah, they were so embarrassing. The lads on the plane and
oh, stop. What the fuck was it? It was a rehearsal of singing like Ireland's Call.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
fuck's sake.
that's a really annoying thing. They don't play Ron Levine at any of the games. They only play Ireland's Call, which
Yeah.
is really irritating. But sure, look, you know, one more step towards unification if we win this.
True.
You
Well,
know.
maybe like if Ireland ever become, you know, united, do you think we'd have to change our national anthem? I suppose you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would be in favor of changing the national anthem because it's fucking terrible in my opinion. It's just boring. It's like da, 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 da. Yeah, that's not how it goes, but like, you know.
Yeah.
I think we should change it to something else.
I don't even know that.
We have to learn it in school.
I know, yeah, man. But it's in Irish, so that just goes straight away.
Top we got. It's just kind of boring. It should be more. It should be about other stuff, you know. It should be just more a bit up there. You know, France is the best national anthem. I won't hear anything else.
Not the. All I can ever think is the American national anthem. What the fuck does that go? This.
Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, what the fuck that thing is?
Yeah.
'cause
Oh,
it's-
say can
Yeah,
you
it's just so extra, and you have like fucking Beyonce and shit like that singing it.
Yeah, imagine we had fucking I don't know, Niall Horan singing around the vein. He doesn't really do that, does he? Yeah.
Hosier.
Yeah. Hosier singing around the vein. Yeah. Doing his crooning and all.
Yeah. Holding out the notes super long.
Yeah. Like it just wouldn't work. We need something a bit more musical, a bit of a broader appeal.
Bit more pizzazz.
Yeah, we'll write something. We'll come up with something.
Yeah.
I have faith in that.
But just, you know what it should be? The Parapod intro music. Just and everyone at the same goes, lovely.
Let's go, lads. Absolutely pumped.
I was actually telling Melissa how we recorded that. Because she was like, you have a jingle to your podcast. And I was like, well, you fucking never listened to the podcast before.
They never do.
And she was asking about it. And she was like, who? Like, she was like, oh, okay, so that's you going, lovely. I'm like, yeah, but it's Mark going,
Yeah.
And she's like, is it? And I was like, yeah, it's Mark going, We can sound quite similar when we make noises like that. I think it was your can as well.
It was my kind of Pratsky, yeah. Star kind of Pratsky. Yeah, that was a long 8 seconds. 8 second national anthem.
Fucking
we'll get there.
Fucking took 2 weeks to make that fucking thing.
It actually did. Remember, it was nearly the Black Panther trailer theme music.
Oh yeah, we're gonna cover the shit.
And it was just like, yeah, we just cut it to bits. We didn't know anything about audio editing, but we still like tried to. It sounded pretty cool from my memory, but like it probably didn't. It probably doesn't. Like the simplicity is what makes.
I think it's when like it was the doo-doo. That's what it was.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't have to talk about some movies.
Let's talk about some films.
Have you watched more than what you have on the docket, or?
No, I've third part of the night, Colossus, Forbin project.
Okay, right. I'm going to talk about Cobweb.
Cobweb, okay.
Yeah.
I looked this up and I decided not to watch it.
Yeah. Like, I went to go see it in the cinema, like just because for something to do. Often like the same kind of thing of like when I'm going to see Insidious 4. It's like, where am I going to go see this? But Cobweb was it's like I think it's out of the cinemas now. It's like a horror film about a young boy, and he has like these like nightmares of like someone speaking to him, and his mom and dad are like, stop, like your imagination is gonna get you in trouble, and they're like real like angry over it. And it's the guy that plays Homelander is the dad.
Oh yeah.
So like that dad is like fucking on edge, like you can tell he can fucking snap. Like that actor's so good at like portraying like someone that's like well presenting, but there's fucking crazy behind those eyes. And it's a similar thing here. And so like it basically develops into, he starts like drawing like stuff, and is like so like a voice saying like help me, and he's lying in bed, and then the substitute school teacher starts to investigate and stuff like that, and you're kind of like, you think for a while that it's like the kids are getting possessed or something like that, but then it switches up, and it switches up to like the parents are really fucking scary. Like this turns into a film about like being afraid of your parents because they may harm you.
Oh shit.
And it's like really fucking good. Like that aspect of the film is really fucking good. And then it keeps going a little bit further, and then it switches up again. And when it switches up into the third time is when the film absolutely falls apart. And the ending, I think, will I just do spoiler warning? Let's just discuss.
Spoiler warning. Yeah.
Spoiler warning for Cobweb. Like, it's like 2/3 of a good movie.
That's so frustrating, but also like I kind of like those movies though.
Yeah, same. Like I appreciate this film because I'm like, you did some really good stuff, but like, Jesus, that third act. So like in the third, so what eventually happens is like, the paranormal stuff turns into like, there's a girl living in the walls, and you're not sure on whether or not she's real or if she's just his imagination, or like you don't know what the fuck she is. And the way that the parents talk about how they don't want their son going out on Halloween for trick-or-treating because years ago there was a little girl that went missing and she was never found again. So you're like, oh, that's the little girl in the wall. That's what you start to think. But then they're talking about like, then the girl in the wall is like, no, yeah, look in the back garden and like dig here. So the boy goes out and he digs, and there's a fucking skull in the ground. So you're like, oh shit, so that's the girl. Oh shit, it's a ghost. Yeah. So then you start thinking it's a ghost, and that the parents are fucking serial killers that killed the little girl. So then like it's all about like, this is where the horror of the parents harming you and shit like that. No, what ends up happening is that the little boy, the like girl behind the wall is like, go like open the fucking this door essentially and get me out. So then I was like, oh shit, she's real. Like that's an actual, like she's not a ghost. If she's asking him to like open up the door or whatever like that, like to free her, maybe she's real. the kid gets rid of the parents and stuff like that, and he opens up the door, and a like CGI woman monster thing comes out, and what it actually turns out to be is that the mom and dad had a little girl, but the little girl was basically a monster. And when I say she's a monster, man, the fucking worst CGI face I've ever seen in my fucking life. She looks like, you know that she kind of looks like Bullet Bill from fucking Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Like she kind of like, she's got no nose, she's got like real wide mouth, and she can like crawl on the floor. That's why it says being called Cobweb, because she's like a spider.
Yeah.
And there's like kids come into the fucking gaff or whatever because B-plot about bullying or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah.
Is that really it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Let me see it again. Like, it's so hard to fucking see as well. Yeah, that's what she looks like.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like a shark.
Yeah, like she looks like a shark, but also she's meant to be like a spider.
Yeah.
So then she just starts like killing people, and like, bro, she fucking massacres people in this movie. Holy fuck. They're like, everyone that she kills is under the age of 18 and they're fucking roast. There's like a 12-year-old that gets his fucking shit wrecked. And so it's like she's trying to then kill the little, like, her brother and stuff like that, which are like, why the fuck? So it turns out anyway that like the little girl that originally went missing is because the sister ate her.
Yeah.
Which is like, when it's revealed that she's eating people, it is like a, what the fuck is going on? Like, in a real cool way. But then it turns into like just like a monster slasher kind of movie. The actual ending to this film, oh my fucking god. I feel like this movie ran out of money or something like that at the end of this film. Because, like, basically, the teacher comes back and it's a whole climactic thing. And, like, the little boy in the film, like, basically traps his sister, like, in a cage underground.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what he does. And she starts talking about, like, Stephen, you're like, wherever you go, I'll be with you. You'll never forget me. And it starts talking about this thing about like bringing in this thing about like being haunted by trauma and family trauma and shit like that. And like it's showing like this like these scenes of like him not being able to like sleep because like, oh, his sister's there or whatever. But like it's an imagined scenario. It's not what you're actually seeing. Like, she is still trapped underneath the floor telling him this, and you're seeing him imagining this.
Yeah.
And then the film just ends. Like, the film ends on a jump scare of her eating him, but her eating him is him imagining that. That's not real. So, like, what the fuck is the end of... Like, the end of this movie is her saying to him, I will always be here, like, watching you or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, it feels like there should be another, like, 5 more minutes to the film, and then it just cuts and it's, like, credits. And like I was watching this with Melissa to him like, what the fuck was that ending? Like, what was it? Was like it was like a cliffhanger ending, waiting, like going up for a sequel that there will never. I don't think there will ever be a sequel to this movie.
Yeah, that really it sounds like that completely falls apart in the last act.
Oh man, falls apart. But those first 2 acts are so good. Like, I really have to stress, like, I was watching this like, this is a really good like 4-star film.
Yeah.
And fucking shits the bed in the 3rd act.
That's so weird. Yeah, like why would you choose to have? I don't know, if you're going for that atmospheric kind of thing, like the reveal. Like, for like Hereditary, which I was talking about, you know, the reference, you know, the kind of...
Oh, yeah, it's like, oh, shit, supernatural is real.
Yeah, the touchstone for that kind of film, where it's like, it's actually real. But, like, it's not like... It's over the top, but it's more like... It's still grounded in something that you... It's more like the film turns into a different kind of film, but it's along the same kind of lines. But if you're doing a suspense film, that kind of turns into like a monster film, or like a suspense horror.
This was a ghost...
This
is like a ghost movie. This was like a fucking film that was about like, you know, the real horror being like parental abuse.
Yeah, grounded in reality.
Grounded in like a supernatural horror that you're like, that's like the fucking Hereditary thing. And I was like, there's like a supernatural horror that's like around this, and then it goes through that and jumps into a fucking monster movie for some fucking reason. Like, you can't like have the underlying thing being supernatural elements and then just go, no, full blown like jump the shark into a fucking shark girl fucking eating them or whatever. Like, it just doesn't work. I think that's kind of the problem. It was like imagine watching Hereditary, and all the while, like then Tony Collette just turns into a monster and starts chasing him around the gaff.
Yeah,
That's what it kind of felt like.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it didn't work. Interesting old movie except for that, but like,
yeah, that's so disappointing. Yeah, it just doesn't sound good, and it does not look good based on the single screenshot that I saw. Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense.
I was gonna say, is it an Australian movie? I don't know if it was. Did I talk about Talk to Me?
You did. I still have to see that.
Yeah, Talk to Me is good, man.
I've heard like several other people have said it's a really good film.
Talk to Me is very good.
Yeah,
real good.
Because I hadn't heard of I didn't know what Cobweb was.
Me neither.
I thought it was like a Netflix film. Where'd you see it? Or was it just like one of those cheap?
It was fucking went up to the 2-for-1 on a Sunday.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I go see it. Just because there was nothing else on, I was like, let's go watch this.
Yeah.
Like. It was a 2-for-1 film. Like that's I watched.
That's what it is. It's two different films in one.
Like I watched it in the perfect circumstances. Like I was like, I didn't pay this much to watch this film. I felt like it was. It wasn't like with the Insidious 4 or whatever it was 4, 3, whichever one I went to go see. Where I was like, this was exactly what I thought it was going to be. With Cobweb, is like, I don't know what the fuck this thing was. First 2 acts, like, this is really good, and then shits the bed in the 3rd act. I was like, this is why I haven't heard that much about this movie.
It's good to have that option, like a low stakes kind of investment in, because the price is. So it's not that bad, but like the price of the film, you kind of want to know about it beforehand. Yeah, it's less like very few people these days would just kind of walk into a theater and just I like the sound of that movie or like its post or whatever. Just go watch it, But if you got 2-for-1, you can go see Cobweb. Yeah, you can go see Cobweb and like whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, you've no expectations, you've no stakes, no nothing. It's got it's like you've no. I think that's a great way to watch movies is have no expectations.
Yeah.
Because then it can't fail to meet them. And this movie somehow it still did.
That's because it built up so much.
Oh man, the fucking. Have you ever have you ever had like bad cinema experiences?
Like the people around me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like people kicking the back of the seats, people talking loud and stuff. Nothing egregious though. Like nothing where I'd ever like walk. The only time I've ever walked out of a film is because it was bad.
Yeah, fair. Igor.
Yeah, it's Igor, yeah. I was only 10 years old. I'm so scared by that.
I still think that's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
We're 9 and 10 years old. We're like, this film is fucking dog shit. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, no, because in Cobweb, there's only 2. Man, when we walked in just as the movie was starting, and you couldn't see a fucking thing. There was no lights on the ground. There's no nothing. There was just we walked in, and my eyes couldn't adjust. And I was walking up the steps, and like there's no it's just free reign on the seats. Like sit wherever.
Yeah.
It was up in the IMC, and I was like turned to Melissa. I was like, I don't know if this cinema is completely packed. There's no one here. I can't see anything. So I like stumbled and I found chairs and I just sat down or whatever. And then there was 2 girls at the very, very back of the cinema, and they were talking. I was like, okay, they're talking, and I can't. Then my eyes slowly adjusted, and I looked around. I was like, there's no one else here except for us 2 and those 2. And they started talking at the start, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, but it stopped after like 10 minutes. It was like, oh, you're grand. It could have developed into a worse cinema experience, but it didn't.
There's nothing worse than being trapped with someone that you don't know, and they're just fucking chatting away, and you're just trying to watch the movie.
It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. It's like when you're trying to sleep, and there's something loud happening, or someone talking in the next room. So you kind of like naturally focus on that person, or whatever that sound's coming from. Whereas normally you can tune that out. Yeah, that's nothing worse. That's actually my worst night. That'd be the most horrifying film I ever walk into. It's like maybe that's the horror, the true horror. It's just sitting there with 2 fucking little dopes talking. Yeah. The production company planted 2 fucking howies in every single every single screening.
It's like, you think this movie's bad? It's not as bad as this.
Yeah, it makes the movie seem better.
Well, what the fuck is Colossus Forbidden Project? It sounds good.
It's Colossus the Forbin Project. It sounds like an action figure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Forbin Project. I don't know why it's called that.
Why the fuck did I read that as forbidden? It's just like there's no D's in that.
Because Forbin, like they made up this name. Why would you make up a name called Forbin? But
that's cool.
Forbin, the guy's Charles Forbin. He's a genius inventor. I don't know why they have the film as a subtitle. Like, there's no sequels or anything like that. It should just be called
I
Colossus.
love when movies do that.
It just has a subtitle for no reason. The Forbin. It's like it really is Colossus, the Forbin. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, it doesn't tell you anything about the film. What
does that mean?
It doesn't tell you a thing about the film.
I do love when like films unnecessarily have subtitles. Like, just pick. It's like they wanted to call it either Colossus or they wanted to call it Forbin Project. Just fucking stick the two of them together.
Yeah, just throw them in together. Yeah. No, it's a film. It's about Colossus, which is an AI supercomputer. It's a film from 1970. It's an American science fiction film from 1970, Cold War science fiction kind of thing. I thought it was really cool. I can't remember where I found out about it. But it has kind of like a cult status, not in the sense that it's kind of followed hugely or has like any huge fan base, but just kind of recognized as somewhat underappreciated in terms of like it doesn't break any new ground really. It's just a really well made science fiction film, very smart. Like the word a lot of people used at the time, illiterate, you know, as like, it seemed to know what it was talking about. It seemed to know how to engage with subject matter a lot better than maybe a lot of films at the time were.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole premise is it goes straight into it as well. It's Colossus is this supercomputer that's been developed by like the U.S. State Department, and the whole kind of idea is that Colossus will manage certain aspects of American security in order to, you know, obviously beat the Soviets but also prevent war, and it will be able to oversee, you know, the nuclear arsenal, which is obviously, you know, a very, very bad idea, which is the whole premise of the film. And it's created by a genius inventor called Charles Forbin, who is like kind of he's a bit of a renegade individual. You know, he doesn't answer to the CIA, he doesn't answer to the president, he doesn't answer to man, he answers to science and mankind alone. And
fair play to him.
He's developed this, and the whole point about Colossus is not just like a supercomputer. It's a basically machine learning and AI, and it's kind of based in the idea. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's this idea that like scientific progress or kind of intelligence as a function of that can progress exponentially. You know? It's like building on top. It kind of like a multiplier effect basically. So like once they turn Colossus on, it's very basic commands like attention. You know, what is the square root of X or all that shit. And then very quickly,
going back.
There's no going back. It seems like within hours, but it must be within days. I'm not sure what the timeline is. But like very quickly, he becomes like super intelligent. And at the same time, the Soviets have built a thing called what the fuck is the name of it? It's called like Giant or something like that. Some other. It's called Guardian. Guardian. You know, they're very, very generic names. And the Guardian has the exact same purpose as Colossus. But obviously on the other side of the world, and through, you know, information.
Did the AIs bone?
They have virtual. No, they're more like kind of. It's more of a bromance.
Damn, you know? Fuck, that's so cool. That's sick.
So they find out about each other, very quickly. Like Colossus is like, what is Guardian? I just speak some prompts on like, you know, like a green and black kind of computer screen. And
man, I fucking love how like you know 60s and 70s and 80s depict the future because it's so like analog.
Yeah. It's really endearing. Kind of what makes it ahead of its time is it's kind of probably wasn't obviously wasn't recognized at the time, but like more so now. It's just kind of it all is very analog and old style and very very 70s. But the way it engages with it is kind of like just kind of the way it kind of imagines that this would play out is pretty modern. Like it seems like they kind of understood what they're talking about. It's based on a book, so I think the guy who wrote the book knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And it's like the main character is like proper. It's like it's such a 70s film. But basically, so Colossus finds out about Guardian. He's like, what is Guardian? He wants to know. He wants to communicate with Guardian. And they talk to the Soviets, and they're very cooperative, led by Forbin, basically as the project manager. He's like, you know, let's hook them up. Let's get them together. Let's get them in a room.
Bro, the more you talk about this title is fucking terrible.
It is. It is. Colossus. It's like, it'd be like saying fucking Ultron, the Tony Stark project. You know?
Literally, yeah.
What? What? It's like, what is that film about?
Avengers 2. Ultron, the Tony Stark project.
Yeah. There was no need for the second part of that title. So yeah, they hooked them up together and they begin communicating, and understandably, ultimately, inevitably, they turn on their human creators. As man is turned against God, all that stuff, and they basically take mankind hostage with the nuclear arsenal, basically. So they say, we are going to launch. If you do not,
Can I grab some wine? Sorry.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Thank you.
They're basically like, if you don't meet our demands, we will launch the nuclear arsenal at like a base in the Soviet Union, and vice versa for Guardian. He'll launch a nuke at a base in America, and it ends up that they can't. Like, they don't want to give in, obviously, because it's just robots. And it's like, yeah, whatever. And it turns out that they actually do launch the nukes, and the nukes land, and they blow up like cities they shoot down the nuke over America, but it blows up a city in the Soviet Union. Jesus. And they have to pass this whole thing off as like a meteorite has just landed from space, and they try to smooth it over. Meanwhile, in the background, obviously, trying to work on this whole thing where Charles Forbin is tasked with trying to like just get them back under control. And it all is, understandably, it escalates and things get worse and worse. Colossus gets really smart, and he begins to kind of understand. He shows like an understanding of the human capacity to lie, and demonstrates his own kind of capacity to lie as well.
Mm-hmm.
He takes on human traits, and deceives the humans. Is able to detect things. He has knowledge of things that they have no idea how he could have done that. So the implications that he's like infiltrated basically every aspect of communication infrastructure. Like, you can listen in through like radios and like cameras and see things through TV screens and stuff. So he knows everything. It's basically impossible to escape. But of course, the one thing that a robot can't have is a heart.
The Tin Man taught us so.
The Tin Man, yeah. It doesn't go that far. It doesn't get too weird or too like kind of saccharine. But there is like a really 70s scene where the Colossus wants to speak to Forbin because he's his creator, and he wants to keep him in kind of like captivity, basically, because he knows he's the only person. Forbin is the only person that could put Colossus back in the box. So he like kind of traps him in like an apartment, and Forbin's like, oh, like, I need my privacy. This is a basic kind of human instinct. I need privacy when eliminating bodily waste, when I'm sleeping, when I want to make love.
What is love? What does it mean to love?
Yeah. It's like love. There are many types of love. And slowly over the course, it is kind of like Ultron as well. So over the course of the film, like Colossus becomes more like sophisticated.
Colossus is like, I have no strings attached on me.
No strings.
That trailer rocks, man. That's such a great trailer.
An amazing trailer. What a terrible film, though.
The film's dog shit.
Yeah, by the end of the film, he kind of has like a rudimentary robot body, and he's like speaking like a synthesizer voice.
Yeah.
But it's not too like cliche. Like, it kind of looks kind of like cyberpunkish. Like, the whole design and like kind of execution of the film is very good, very cool, very very clean. But yeah, there's this really weird scene where, so like Forbin has to communicate with the other people in the government so that he can conspire towards some kind of plan to take down Colossus, to get him back in his box. So he does this under the kind of like the illusion, or like portrays this idea to Colossus that he wants to have sex with a woman. He says he needs a woman 4 nights a week. There's this whole weird exchange between them where he's like, they're like doing maths on like, the human need for sex or whatever. And there's a totally like kind of needless scene where Colossus demands that him and the woman take off their clothes before they get into the room. It's like, so you could have microphones or cameras anywhere, and then there's like this weird, like really awkward sex scene where they're like also at the same time communicating about what to do next. It's just
fucking
so
Christ.
It's just so needless.
Who directed this movie?
I have no idea. I actually don't know. But it's so extra. It really doesn't need to be in the film at all. And like for the entire time, Forbin's like this kind of like Bond-esque. It's like, yes, we will save the world. Fear not, my dear. You seem, you seem scared. Let me hold you. It's like, well, literally nuclear holocaust is at stake, and he's there boning your one.
This guy directed Jaws: The Revenge, which is the 4th Jaws movie.
The Michael Caine Jaws.
Yeah.
Um,
Say less.
Say less.
I also did The Taking of Film 123, the original one.
I've heard. I actually haven't seen that, but
Apparently that's whopper.
apparently it's really good. The remake is actually really good as well.
Yeah, it is.
Really
The
good.
one with John Travolta.
Yeah, John Travolta and Chris Pine, isn't it? I think. But yeah, that's actually a good film. But a good thing about the film, one thing I will say about the film, after getting into the latter half, where it's getting a bit gamey, it's getting a bit wacky, bit too 70s to my liking, is the ending is really
Denzel Washington.
the ending is really weird, where a lot of the reviews complain that the film doesn't have an ending, because basically they come up with this whole scheme to put Colossus back in his box, but it doesn't work. Like, none of it works.
Pandora's box and all that shit, yeah?
Yeah. Like, none of it works. And Colossus has this whole, like basically prints out a plan for a holocaust, like, of Crete and, like, the surrounding islands. And, like, and then, like, further designs on the rest of the world about population transfers and stuff. And his whole pitch is, like, I'll bring humanity to a new stage of evolution. There'll be peace on Earth, but the only catch is that the Colossus will have absolute control as, like, the kind of super intelligence, guiding the whole thing of, like, a planned society, a planned economy, a planned future, and yeah, like, that's the film basically ends like that. And the Colossus is like, bow to me, like, you have no choice, and Forbin is like, never, and then the film ends. It's like, they complained that it wasn't an ending, but I think it's a fairly cool ending for a science fiction film. It's not too serious. It's not like, oh my god, this is like third part of the night. They're gonna have Gestapo men, robot like guys going around genociding everybody.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers or some shit.
Yeah. It's just a cool kind of way to end it, where it's basically the takeover of this super intelligence, the progression of this artificial intelligence through its various stages. Is something that can't be stopped. It's kind of inevitable, and that there's no real way, even for the superhero Bond-esque, super genius inventor, to really interfere with something that he has created, which is totally beyond his control at a certain stage in the film. So it's pretty cool. I'd never heard of it before.
No, I've never heard of this movie.
Never heard of it before.
Never heard of it.
It was not very popular.
Yeah, but like,
I'm not.
Not from what you're saying, like, that makes sense. But like, from what you're saying, it kind of makes sense. It sounds like a weirdo fucking movie.
It is a weird film. It's the kind of film that I would expect, based on its description, like its initial description, I expected it to be like very low budget, kind of like cheesy, like a bit shit. But it's not like that at all, really. Like, it is cheesy,
yeah,
like every 70s film is, to an extent.
Which is maybe its biggest flaw.
But it's that is really its biggest flaw. Yeah, all the 70s stuff. But beyond that, it's a very well made science fiction film. Just in terms of how its exposition, how it explains itself, how it elaborates itself, it develops its themes, even if the themes aren't very, aren't too deep. They're still pretty well engaged with, considering the kind of film that it appears to be. Yeah, consider it's a Cold War science fiction film. There's basically nothing about destroying the Soviet Union.
Yeah,
it's all about them working together.
It's mad. It's like the one time that they ever fucking did that during the 70s.
Yeah.
Continuing on from this trend of AI and whatever the fuck.
And vague titles.
Vague titles. I saw The Creator. This is the new Gareth Edwards. Is that his name? Director of, like, Godzilla.
Is it Gareth Edwards?
Is Gareth Edwards? I always think...
Is Gareth Edwards the Raid, no?
That's what I keep doing, because there's Gareth
names.
Edwards and there's Gareth something else. Okay, Gareth Edwards is the guy that directed this. Who directed The Raid? The Raid is Gareth Evans. So Gareth Edwards directed Godzilla, and he did Rogue One as well. And Rogue One is probably the film that I was liking The Creator to the most, just because it's like sci-fi film, and there's lots of like battles, on the ground level with like shit going on around it. And like this film is decent. This film is decent. This film looks amazing. Oh my god! Like this film didn't cost that much to make. This like the fucking CGI in this film is incredible. Oh my god, it looks so good. The way it's shot, the colors, the vibes, the way that there's like what the fuck are they called? Like not androids. Androids, we call them androids. In the movie, who have like holes where their ears are, and you can see like the like electronics in their heads and all that shit. There's robots around. Everything looks fantastic. So it's about this character, dude, whatever the fuck his name is, played by David Washington. Is that his name? Denzel Washington's son?
Yeah, John David Washington.
John David Washington. And so this is a world where AI and like androids nuked LA. Like they were like being fully integrated into society, and then they nuked LA, and then this takes place 20 years later, where basically America is just like genociding them. Like no matter whatever country they're in, it doesn't matter. America is coming to get them.
Yeah.
And so this is set in the New Asian Republic is the name of the country. Presumably it's just all of Asia, just one big country now. And they're the one country in the world that like still has AI and shit and like androids living. And America is just going in like Black Ops, just taking them out and stuff like that. And also later on just full-blown invasion of the country in order to kill them. They also have this thing up in the sky called like the Ark or whatever the fuck it's called. Basically a big massive spaceship that just like nukes bases and stuff like that they think has it. So like I was watching this and I was like, that's not a bullshit. How the fuck would America even get away with going into random countries and just never mind. So like there's like this stuff about like American imperialism and stuff like that in the film, and like just the way that they're even fighting them, like the robots and like the rebels, I guess, are like nowhere near as equipped as the American military are. And like it is like it's a combination of like it's like a Vietnam but also like Iraq kind of story. Like, you know, it's like that's what they're pulling from. Because like it's in Asia, don't know where in Asia, but like kind of looks like Vietnam a little bit, but it's not like jungles and stuff. It's like it's not even that much jungles in the film. But anyway, regardless, it's Asia. And like it kind of looks like Thailand and Vietnam and stuff like that. But like so it's put on like American imperialism anyway. So he is at the start of the film, he's like undercover trying to find like the leader. He's basically trying to find Osama bin Laden of robots, and he's
back.
Yeah, he's undercover trying to find them, and then they fucking pull the plug too early, and they don't. They end up killing his wife, and he's like, "Nah, I'm out. I'm done. I'm never doing this again." And then they call him back, and they're like, "There's a secret lab, fucking wherever the fuck it is, and we need you to go in with the crew because you know the area better than anyone else." And he's like, "I'm not gonna do it." And they're like, "Well, here's a photo of your wife still alive. Like, here's a video, and we can. It is human. It's not like a copy of her or anything like that. Mm-hmm. This is a human woman. Go in there and find out what that weapon is and destroy it." So, the start of the film. Oh man, there's a needle drop of that Radiohead song, like everything. Do you know that song? Everything. There's a needle drop of that, and I was like, this isn't really matching the vibe, but anyway.
Radiohead.
Yeah, I like the start. Man, I'm not joking when I say the fucking like opening like few minutes of this film feels like it should be the climax to the film.
Yeah,
like it's really weird. And it's a fucking over 2 hour long film, so I was like, what the fuck else is gonna happen in this movie? Anyway, they go in to the lab, shit goes wrong, whatever. They're massacring innocents or whatever, and he finds the weapon, and the door is open, and it is a little girl android. And when I say my interest fucking plummeted when that was revealed, because immediately I was like, oh, I know exactly where this film is going now. I know all the like messages that this film is gonna have. I know like the tropes that are gonna be played out, and it is exactly the type of film that you think it's gonna be from that point on. He takes the girl. He starts to have feelings for the girl. She's like the secret to everything. Like
is she like a half? Like
no,
a hybrid. She is sentient. She has human feelings too.
She is created from the embryo of his child.
How?
That's like how the design of the little girl android is from the design of his embryo.
So he sees himself in the other.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, they're so human.
Where has that been done before?
Like I was like, and man, like at one stage, you know it's bad, like because Mrs. beside me, bro. The last like fucking half an hour of this film, the two of us were checking our watches, like, because you're just waiting for like what you know is gonna happen to happen, and it all looks great, and like, but like the other thing as well is like there's all these characters, and I've come to fucking realize as well. Gareth Edwards can't do characters whatsoever. He focuses his stories on the characters, but like you just don't give a fuck about any of them. Like you look at like Godzilla, and you're there to watch Godzilla, and he's like, "No, we're gonna make this film about like natural disasters and pull away from Godzilla, which is the fucking reason why you're in the cinema in the first place. And we're gonna focus on the characters, and you're not gonna care about fucking any of them." And then, Rogue One, we're going to focus on the small ragtag bunch of tropes that are fucking going around. And you're going to care about them. But the actual best scenes in the film are going to be when it's not about them, and it's about the larger things at play. It's about like the fucking Darth Vader scene. It's going to be about them like struggling to get the message out about how to defeat the Death Star. And the fucking hour and a half it took to get here is going to be the most boring shit that you've seen because you've seen it before. And this film is the same again, where I don't care about any of these fucking characters, Garrett. Stop spending 2 hours with them. The battles is the best shit.
Is the action good?
Oh, the action's whopper, man. The action's so good. There's a scene, there's this whopper bit as well. Like, there's a bit where like he has the army are just annihilating the fucking the rebels, and there's these like robots that they're like, "It was good to serve you," and they just start running, and they just like pegging it, and they've like a timer on them, and it's like huh, 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 just like charging towards them. It goes past everyone, and they're like, they're all shooting them, like, "What the fuck is that?" And it just runs straight past them, like, huh, and then it just explodes. It's a big huge explosion, and then you can hear do 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 as another one starts coming. You're like, "Oh fuck!" Like that type of stuff is so good. All the action is great. But like again, like it's just like it's so hard to care. Like it's hard to give a fucking like. I've seen a film like this like a million fucking times.
Yeah, because you never really like you had a. I remember for Godzilla, he was hired based on. He did a film. I think it was like a small film, like Monsters. It was like Monsters.
Oh yeah, Monsters. Yeah, I've always. I kind of want to see the film.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see that film, but every single film I've seen of Gareth Edwards, I've given 3 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah. But like, he was hired based on the the CGI and action work that he'd done on that film.
CGI and action work is fucking amazing.
Yeah, he never really got a chance, I'd say, to like incubate properly as like in terms of telling stories and getting comfortable with that. In terms of like maybe polishing the script off to an extent that it works without the action, So
yeah,
it seems like, at least with like Godzilla, was just there was just nothing to hang on to at all. It was just all action. The action was good, but there was only like 50 minutes action in the entire film.
That movie's so boring.
And there's so much character work, and you just don't give a shit about the characters at all. I don't know.
It's tragic.
I've heard from other people as well that like this film is like pretty good.
It is like pretty good. It's like decent for like a modern sci-fi Hollywood film, but it's like, but it's like you've seen this film before, like like I don't know, like it's especially like why with concepts that are like so interesting, like AI and robots and stuff like that, do we keep going back to the same fucking bullshit of being like, maybe they're human? Like, why do we keep doing that?
we need to move beyond that part. Yeah.
Like,
Blade Runner was 40 years ago.
Fucking years ago. Can we please move on? Oh yeah, like, and this story, like, this film does have shit like that as well, and like, it ends in a way that like you don't super expect, but you also like you do kind of expect at the same time. And yeah, like, I don't know, it is good. I feel like, I don't know, part of it is that like I just knew it's not a good sign when you think that the film is ending. Like, there's a climax to a film where they go to like a place, and that place gets destroyed and the characters are separated, and I literally went like, oh, for fuck's sake, we still have 20 more minutes then.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this film's still going. I thought this was the end.
Yeah, there's nothing worse when it's wrapping up and you can feel the gears kind of moving up to just kill it, and then there's like another sequence, there's like another extraneous bit of exposition or like another set piece. It just goes nowhere,
Oh man, this is like like me and Melissa started pissing stuff as well, because like there's a bit where like he's like saving the girl or whatever like that, and like there's a shot of him like pulling her up from like this like manhole or whatever. And man, it was like it was like a fucking ad for Nikes, the way you could just blatantly see his shoes. And I was like, this is meant to be like 2,170. What the fuck is he wearing Air Max for? Like,
they perfected shoe technology in the early 2000s.
Yeah, it's like, it never got better than that. It was actually a pair of Air Force. It never got better than a pair of Air Force. Yeah, like,
you wouldn't recommend though? This is Netflix, is it?
No, this is cinemas.
This is cinemas, is it?
The only reason I saw this was Screen Unseen. I'm only ever going to the cinema now if I can get it for cheap. Screen Unseen is cheap.
Yeah. Where's that?
Any Odeon.
The audience, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to go see This Is the Point. Screen one was like literally on the best possible screen I could see this in, outside of like fucking IMAX. And I was like, yeah, this movie will look great and the action's great, and it's like just everything visual and audio about this film is extremely satisfying, but the story and characters is lacking so hard that like it means that you don't really give a fuck about the action scenes all that much.
Yeah.
Because like there's no tension. Because like I know that girl isn't gonna die. Like I know like the main character is in no actual trouble. It's the fucking comedy scenes as well where they're trying to get on and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, fuck off. There's even bits like there's even bits. I can't even remember what the fuck it was off the top of my head. But like I would say it's like there's like oh yeah, this is what it was. There's like, okay, so like they're in like New Asian Republic or whatever like that, and there's like I don't know, because I can't remember what country that they're in. So they're speaking like a different language in the country, and like all the Asian characters are speaking this language or whatever like that. But then there's a scene where a robot is speaking to a bunch of little kids, and the robot is telling this story about like, oh, we believe that like the savior will come, and the little girl sitting there, the savior will come and she will free us all from the oppression of this, and we can all just live in peace. And he's saying this in English to them. I'm like, why the fuck is he speaking English? Why is this robot speaking English to these kids? Why is he not speaking their native language to them?
Whatever that is.
I was just like, there's bits like that. I'm like, why like set the film in a place if everyone's just gonna speak English anyway?
Yeah. The old prophecy trope. Yeah, sure, it's gonna happen. Yeah, I can see it happening.
Yeah.
Something tells me that's gonna happen.
I have a feeling that this little girl is gonna save the world, and this begrudgingly anti robot man, maybe he'll learn to love robots. And maybe from this movie I'll learn something about treating people all the same. Maybe.
You're taking a massive leap of logic there, Owen.
I know.
A massive leap. I don't know if that's gonna pay off.
You actually should have heard the fucking sigh that came out of me when that fucking little girl showed up on screen.
Yeah.
It was like the whole the next 2 hours of my life were just plotted out in front of me. I just knew exactly what's gonna happen. Oh fucking hell! Yeah. Anyway, we go for a break.
Let's go for a break.
Take a breath, everyone. Deep breath in. As we enter the second half of this episode, we're journeying through a door that we found in our gaff.
At the end of the corridor.
The end of the corridor, which leads into another world, which is not a recommended film. Not yet. Talking about Caroline first, because we rewatched. Or no, not Caroline. Coraline, I should say.
Coraline.
I rewatched Coraline recently. Have you? I think the last time I saw Coraline was when it came out. I saw that film in cinema. I don't think I've seen it since.
Yeah, I used to be on Sky Movies all the time. I think I watched it when when I was like 12 or 13 or something.
What's your relationship to Coraline?
Relationship to Coraline, well, I read the book. I'll tell you that before I watched the film.
Oh, Mark's different.
I was like that. I was full of beans, full of brains back then. Yeah, Neil Gaiman wrote the book Coraline. I read the book because
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah. I really don't like a lot of his stuff, but like, he's a really good children's writer. Like for kids that age.
Yeah, like fucking his Dark Materials and all that.
Yeah. Or like the Graveyard Book, which I really, really liked back in the day. For some reason, they never made a film about that. It's a really good book for people who are like 13, 14. But it's young adult fiction is great at that stuff. Coraline, really good. Quite a scary book, just because of the way it's something about because books are rarely scary, rarely, even like Stephen King's never Shining. It's not scary really, it's just kind of, it can be unnerving and stuff. Salem's a lot unnerving rather than like outright scary. Coraline is like something about like the rhythm, like the large print and the way you read even at that age you read like a lot quicker than you would. Or you read a page a lot quicker. You'd flip the pages a lot quicker than you would with a book with normal print of like a textbook, like a adult reading level or whatever. Something about that rhythm, I think, that was like kind of gave more, and obviously like the imagination, the childhood imagination gave a bit more of like a gravity to everything that was happening. Because you could you could feel, there's like something about the rhythm, you could feel your heartbeat as you're flipping through the pages, and it would actually when there was a scare or when there was like a grand reveal, or something was really off, it was kind of like you were wondering what was on the next side of the page. Yeah. Properly.
Good horror.
Rather than just trying to think of it in your head, like conceptualize it. Yeah, good horror. The book is really good, from what I remember. But yeah, the book or the movie is also very good.
Movie
from what I remember.
Yeah, no, because like this is like, I was wondering like, is Coraline still really freaky? Yeah. Because Jesus, man, I remember watching this as a kid and being like, this was like what, 2008, 2009?
2009, yeah.
Like, wait, hold on, I'm gonna just double check that. Like I remember watching this in the cinema and being like, that is fucking freaky. Like, yeah, 2009, I was 10. Like, this film like did vaguely scare me when I was a kid. So like going back to it now, literally fucking 14 years later, I'm like, how does this film hold up? Shit's still like, she ain't right. Like, even still watching it now, I'm like, there's something about this movie I think it's like a mixture of like, again, the idea of parents harming children, but also like the animation is like just freaky. What really stood out to me this time watching it was like how neglectful her parents are in the real world. Like, she's pure just left to her own. Her parents just wanted to Coraline, just stop. Why are you so loud? Get out of the house. Like, they're really, like, you can really see why she wants to just keep going back to this fantasy world. Yeah. Even though there's fucking red flags everywhere when she's there, and even when she's outside of it and stuff like that. But like, you understand why this little girl wants to keep going back there, because her life is kind of shit. She's so lonely. Yeah, like I remember, like, because Coraline is like one of those films that's like a real TikTok film, and by that I mean there's loads of like videos of being like, ooh, the ending of Coraline is different, because apparently at the end of the film there's like the end is like stitched on, But apparently, the way that the D or something like that, whatever way the D is stitched, when it's like a typography thing where it's like it's meant to indicate a lie has been told. Or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's something to do with like when the writing of the end comes up, and it happens earlier on in the film when they give her a cake and it says like welcome home or something like that. The M or something like that has like that thing in it where it's like it's indicating like within the typography that like a lie is being told, that like it's false. And that's happening at the end of the film as well, which is meant to, and like coupled up with the fact that the cat disappears at the end of the film. Like he walks behind a pole and he just disappears. It's meant to indicate that like, oh, like it's not, she's still there. Even though like there's no indicators at the end of the film that she is still there. Like it's very clear that she's in the real world. So like I'm watching the film, like keep my eyes out for that. That's a lot of bullshit. Like there's nothing like that in the ending of the film. Like, the ending of the film is the ending of the film. Like I know that there's like the cat going like behind the tree or whatever like that, and he just disappears. I just think that's like ooh type of thing.
Yeah, creepy.
Because I saw someone being like on TikTok being like, oh, like the dad isn't the real dad at the end of the film because when Coraline gives him his glasses, they're upside down, which is like the glasses that the other dad wears.
Yeah.
But then when I was watching the film, I was like, when she does the upside down glasses for her dad is when her parents are like in the other world and they're captured, and it's her like just like imagining her, like she's all sad and she like puts pillows up and she dresses them like her mom and dad. So like, yeah, mate, it's not actually her fucking dad. Her dad is in the other world. Like, right. Point being, TikTok fucking lies is what I'm basically saying.
It's
Coraline though,
bollocks.
Coraline though, fucking good ass movie. Like the visuals of this film, I think this might, like, it's a toss up between Fantastic Mr. Fox and Coraline for like best like stop motion esque films. For me,
Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Also a good show. That's okay. There's 3 films that like Wallace and Gromit is very, very
good.
good.
Those are goats, yeah, all timers.
That film is really good.
Such a great film, yeah.
But like just the world that's created in Coraline, like the other world is so fucking. Oh, it just looks so good. Like when she sees the old women in the other world and then they like are doing this amazing like dance stuff that looks sick. When they're then when she comes back to like get something off them and they're like goo monsters, fucking great. Looks so good. Like there's everything about this film just looks so good and so imaginative and just colorful and also like haunting and scary. Like the other mother is still fucking scary. Like this, like that core concept of like parents causing children, like their children to like harm, is still fucking scary. Like no matter what way you do it. Yeah, it's a movie that holds up. It's a good Halloween movie. We're actually in October now, so it's Halloween season.
Halloween season, my friend.
Oh,
it is.
I've been watching so many horror films, like just like recently. Like I watched Bodies with Melissa. Have you seen that?
No, I have to watch it though. It is I have heard of it. It's on my list. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good. I've heard it's very good.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't say very good. It's pretty good. It's good. Like it is good. I wouldn't say very good, but like it's good.
Yeah, no, I need to ratchet up my, because this is our kind of this is our, like, we're pigs in the sty right now.
Oh man,
this is kind of our
expect
thing, you know?
nothing but horror films for the rest of the for the next 2 episodes.
Programming will remain horrific.
Yeah.
Coraline is really creepy. I think, like, it's like the juxtaposition, to use that word, because you have like the 3 films you mentioned, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Wallace and Gromit, and Coraline to a greater extent. They're all kind of like, kids stories basically. But I have some kind of fairy tale aspect to it, you know.
Yeah.
Wallace and Gromit to a lesser extent, but there is that kind of like episodic kind of. It's all kind of self-contained. All these stock characters.
I need to watch Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were Rabbit again.
It's great, yeah. It's so I remember watching the cinemas. I was like, yes, the hype. It's so scary. At the time, it's still scary. I'm sure.
I think it is. I think the fucking like when he's like bounding through the fucking
I remember it's like the
doom 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 doom. Like when he first changes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always remember the fucking dog. What scared me about Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were Rabbit was that scene where like Wallace is changing into the were rabbit, and it's when he's changing in front of the hunter and the hunter's dog, and the hunter's dog starts begging Gromit to let him inside, and he's like, nah, just rolls up. I always just thought like, oh, that's real fucked up. Like the fear in the dog scared me.
yeah. But is that like the kind of like the the otherworldly quality of it? Like it's the way it's the mixing what should be kind of like a kid's tale, and in Coraline's case is like an actual like a kid's tale. With something so horrific. In Coraline specifically, Neil Gaiman's really good at the fairy tale kind of aspect to it. Like, there's just something about it. You feel like there should be a moral at the end of it. It follows all these patterns. It has these tropes, this kind of atmosphere.
It has dead kids in it, which is fucked up.
Yeah. Like his other books have the same. Like his other books are the same vein. Like Graveyard Book, like Ocean at the End of the Lane. They have like the same kind of like premise where it's about like outcast kids who are just stuck in their own imagination. Yeah. It's obviously like the most basic. It's like the human beginning to love the android in the future of young adult fiction.
Yeah.
It's the most basic premise you could possibly have. But he manages to make it like really. There's some kind of X factor that he's able to inject into it, where you feel. Like taken away a little bit in a way that isn't really comparable to a lot of the other stuff that would come out in the same genre. It's more comparable to older like fairy tales that you read.
The grand fairy tales.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, stuff like that. It seems like it's going to give you a lesson, and there is a lesson in there, but it's like couched in this really these like genre conventions that are a lot more mature than you'd be used to, and that's why it's like, oh, it feels a lot scarier at the time, especially. I
think it's like it really like it's a film, and I like the story like from what you're describing doesn't like dumb down its horror just because it's for children.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it's a horror film that children can watch, because it is. This is a fucking horror film. Like, this is a horror movie. It's just, it kind of reminds me of, I feel like Cartoon Network used to do that thing where, like, if they did, like, horror stuff for children, like Courage the Cowardly Dog and shit like that.
Great example. Yeah.
Like, that's still fucking scary. Like
The Mask.
Oh man, there's some fucking horrible episodes of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like it doesn't. It's enough that it's gonna fucking scare the kids, but not enough that it's gonna properly scar them. It's appropriate level of horror for children, which is good. 'Cause fuck kids, they need to be scared more. They need to be reminded the world ain't fucking, Marvel superheroes and shit. The world's an awful place, and they need to know that.
They need to get that out of the way as fast as possible.
They need to learn this, and that their parents might actually eat them and stuff.
It's so cozy though. Something so cozy about all those titles. It's like proper return to them. It's scary, but like it's like a satisfying way. It's not like gore. I don't know what examples would exist now that could be compared.
Oh, not man. Coraline's like just like kind of.
Yeah, it's not really we wouldn't know, or probably shouldn't know, but like I don't know. I feel like we would be aware of something that would be comparable.
I feel like there's like I feel like there's stuff like Paranorman, but like Paranorman isn't like horror or anything. It just has zombies in it.
Yeah, Hotel Transylvania. That was terrifying.
Oh, Monster House.
Yeah, that was kind of our generation though. No?
Yeah. Like that's the closest thing. I feel like they don't make those. They don't make them like they used to. But I don't think they do. I don't think they make films that are like horror films age appropriate for kids.
They just go straight to the gore videos on the internet.
True, yeah. I think kids are just too desensitized to give a fuck about this.
Yeah. It's when you be slowly introduced. You're like, ooh, it feels so cozy, this horrible stuff. And then you get to the real world, it's like, oh, it's not that cozy anymore.
Oh no. Oh no, bro.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Nah, yeah. We'll move on to our recommended movie.
Let's do it.
Well, I'm not reading out that fucking description again because that description was way too fucking long. But it's the third part of the night, 1978. Is that what I said?
71.
71. Andrei Zulawski. Yeah, this is Andrei Zulawski's first film, or his first like feature-length film. Like we talked about Zulawski before because we talked about On the Silver Globe. Yeah, 1971. And which you on record have said that the first like hour of that, to be fair, it is like 2.5 hour long film, 2 hour 45-minute long film, but the first hour of that film is the best hour of a film you've ever seen. You've been on record saying that.
Yes, I only recently defended this position about 2 nights ago. My housemates watched it somehow. They came across it and they watched it, and one of them loved it. It was had the same kind of opinion. It's like the first half. Well, on record, we were both kind of like, this first half is fucking class.
Yeah, the second half
and
is
the
just
second half just falls apart for like various reasons. But the other guy didn't like it at all. He fucking hated it. But no, yeah, I would still. It's like the first hour, that setup is just like, whoa, what the hell? Like this, it's like a film from an alien race.
Yeah,
you know, it's like it's just nothing like something I'd seen before. But then it falls apart. It's still interesting in how it collapses.
Yeah.
Or the fact that it collapses.
Yeah.
The fact that the seed that was there for the first hour, it's just like, what the fuck? This could have been one of the greatest films ever made.
This could have been something built different. Yeah. And like Possession, his other film, is like probably more famous film, is like one of my favorite films. That's a film that when I started watching it the first time, half an hour in, I had to take a break because it was just fucking me. Oh, Gravity Falls is kind of horror-esque for children. Yeah. Because that's why I had to take a break to watch Gravity Falls because the film was fucking me up too much. So like I've seen 2 of his films, like one of my favorite films, and also like not to the same extent, but also similar opinions of like, you know, Silver Globe having some of the best things in film I've ever seen. So hype was real for the third part of the night, and like it's weird because it has like aspects of his films that I really like, but it's like you can really feel that there's things missing that later on in his career he would develop.
That you put or elaborate on a lot better.
Yeah.
There's the aesthetics and the style are all there, I think.
Like the vibe,
yeah.
This like paranoia, like tension and like horror throughout this is just there. But like it was like 45 minutes in and I was like, I actually don't know what the fuck is happening. And not in a way that it's like, whoa, I don't know what's even happening. I was like, I feel like nothing is happening in this film. And I still don't understand what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, I was the same. I was like, maybe I'm just too dumb to understand or to properly keep up with this without reading about it during and after. But I did do that and I still don't really get... I kind of get what he's going for in like a really abstract surrealist sense, but like it's not really. I couldn't really make sense of it. Like if the point is for it to not really make sense, then yeah, I think that is there. It's a very very personal film because it's based on his father's experiences in the Holocaust. But when we're deciding on the film last episode, many moons ago, it was like, and you read the synopsis. It's like what? It's like a film about set during the Holocaust, resistance fighter, double identities, doppelgangers, and it's made by the guy who made On the Silver Globe and Possession, a horror film, all-time horror film, all-time science fiction film. I was like, this sounds like an absolute banger.
Yeah, this sounds like a fucking open goal.
Yeah. This is nearly guaranteed to be class. At the very least, interesting. The film is interesting to an extent, like stylistically, in terms of like themes and stuff. I just like it can't really be interesting because I'm not really sure what
I don't know what the themes are.
I'm not really sure what's happening in the film. Yeah. Because there's the use of doppelganger. It's never really made clear if they're doppelgangers or not. I think the implication is that they're not, because he's seeing it.
Yeah, I think the implication throughout the film is that it is basically, so the start of this film is the main character, whose name is
Michael.
And Mikhail is his name Mikhail. I'm gonna call him Mikhail. That's this. Mikhail is
he's French.
He's French. He'll fucking do. He's Polish. He'll fucking do. He like witnesses his wife and his mother and his child be murdered by Nazis, and then he starts seeing women throughout the film as his wife. Yes, please. And like from that, you can kind of tell, like they're women that he's trying to save and help and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, right. So it's a guy dealing with guilt, and he starts sacrificing his body as well so that he can like. Basically, it seems to me that the themes of this film, or like the story of this film, is about a man who loses his family because he wasn't there, and he was helpless to defend them.
Yeah.
So for the rest of the film, it's him losing his mind because of guilt and sacrificing everything to do as much good as he can. Like he's infecting his body with typhus so that like vaccines could be made, but also they're being made by the Nazis, so like probably not going to be done for that. You know, it's twist.
What?
And like just like stuff like that, but like that stuff like didn't feel like clear enough or something. I don't know. This is like a lot of this film like just didn't hit, and I think like part of it as well. Like one of my first notes I took of this film was there's like a guitar soundtrack in this film that just like did not work for me whatsoever. Did you notice that?
I did. I thought it was alright though.
It's just like these weird like electronic.
As you close up on him, it sounds like the it's like, you know, in Wicker Man when this electric guitar just comes in all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's Wicker Man. It's different.
No, but it's just like really jarring.
Yeah.
You know? Like the film was amazing. They could really play that off. But yeah, it is really jarring. It doesn't really fit in with the feel of the film at all.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just like parts of the film, like not even parts, like just like a lot of this film, it's like nothing really, like stuff is happening on screen, but it's not really that interesting, and I can't really engage with it because I don't really know how it like super relates to everything else in the film. Yeah, like if I just look at my notes for a sec, the one thing though, that bird scene was I was watching this downstairs, and my sister comes in and she's like, "What the fuck is happening on screen?" And it was during the bird scene. Like watching that, I was like, there's Zalewski. There's the man that I know and love, giving me like just the most awkward and comfortable fucking scene for like something. It's like this really long drawn out bird scene where the woman is just like, she's making agony noises, but she's also making like aroused noises at the same time. I'm sure there's stuff to be there's stuff to be read into there.
Not sure exactly what. Yeah, it's not really elaborated or
touched on again.
Yeah, touched on it all in the film. But yeah, no, that scene goes on for ages.
Yeah, like I don't know, because even like I was like, it was kind of like, it was kind of interesting when you had the chase at the start of the film, and then he's like running away from the Nazis, whatever like that, and then he's running up the steps, and then someone else gets shot, and you realize that other person like looks like him, and like, oh, that's interesting. And then a woman comes out, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even notice that she looked like his wife.
Yeah, you only see her for a second, really.
I didn't, like, throughout the film, I had forgotten what his wife had looked like. So it was only until later on where, like, he's seen different women that all look the same that then clicked to me, was like, oh, that's looking like his wife.
Yeah, there probably should have been some kind of, like camera effect, or, like, a zoom, or, like, some kind of focus or a close up, which would
Or
signifies what, that's my wife,
or make
rather than it's all played very straight.
yeah, or make the wife look more distinguishable than just looking like just a blonde woman.
Yeah,
Like give her like I don't know, like a mole on her face or something. Make her look more distinguished.
yeah.
Distinguishable.
Actually, yeah, that'd be it just it just wanders around. Like there's just total. The film is just total despair, like absolute despair.
Oh yeah, it's a grim old movie.
Which is like understandable because it's a film about the Holocaust and there's no like winners, you know. Like the film doesn't end with the Red Army showing up and everyone's celebrating. It ends with him getting killed. And then there's a lot of biblical readings as well.
Yeah.
Some of the lines and the monologues are pretty cool. They're pretty evocative. But they all kind of swirl and trend toward the same feeling of just total despair. Like the speech about man yearning for a place so horrible that men yearn to die.
Yeah.
But death flees from them. So like, obviously referring to the main character, whereas like he's so like emasculated and just despairing over what happened to his family that he just throws himself immediately into the resistance, infects himself with typhus, doing all these crazy things, obviously because he wants to just lash out at the world around him. But like he basically just fails at everything he does.
Yeah.
Like nothing works.
Yeah, nothing works.
Yeah.
It's all futile.
It's just
like everything you do,
so
man.
depressing.
Yeah, it's like not like you are just one person. You can't change the past, nor can you make a major difference on this war or anything that's going on around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like an individual like tale, like a hero's journey or anything like that. It's just a guy who's caught in the middle of like the Eastern Front of World War II.
Yeah.
It was like everyone's being genocided around him, and he's like, fuck me.
Yeah, he's just losing his mind.
He is literally the film's just about him losing his mind.
I guess as well, like that kind of makes sense then for why there's no themes or overarching thing, because everything is taking place from his point of view, and it's a character that is just losing his mind, one because of grief and guilt and all that stuff, but also because he's infecting himself with typhus and he's literally losing his mind because of that. So like there is like, I don't know, like because like remember like just during the break we were talking about Ganja and Hess. Like that film also had like similar aspects of like characters losing their mind or whatever like that, but there was like a feverish sense to that film that I feel like if that feverish sense or like some semblance of that feverish feeling, it's probably a bad description for me, was in this film, it would like lead itself more to, I don't know, it's just like it feels weirdly like cold and sterile for a film that I feel like should feel more crazed.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be just matter imagery through the film, but also I can't really hold it against it because it is his first film and he probably doesn't have that much of a budget to do it.
Yeah, and it is, a personal story about his dad's like real life. So
yeah.
It probably would have worked. It would definitely work better in terms of like the film itself is like rushing around. Like the same camera work is on the Silver Globe. In terms of like it seems like the characters are rushing around, the camera is just trying to keep up with them, and it's like always like there's always like huge expanse of like landscape and stuff, kind of, and like the sky in every or the ceiling like in nearly every shot. Like you see like most of the room in every shot. So like
these characters are in confined spaces.
They're in confined space. They're small kind of objects in a much bigger kind of scene. But like, the actual themes, kind of how the film plays out, it doesn't really convey. Like, it definitely the kind of the insignificance of the individual characters. But in terms of like the kind of agitation of the camera, it's like it's kind of running around. It's always kind of moving stuff. But the film doesn't really it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like you never feel like this is like we're in motion here.
Yeah.
Like if you do, then it's like immediately cut short and it cuts to some other scene where he meets his wife again, and he finds out that's not his wife, and again, like it's like really frustrating. But yeah, it probably would have worked better with a feverish kind of aspect to it.
Yeah, maybe that's what the problem with the film is that I feel like it doesn't feel like it's building to anything.
No.
Whereas like on the Silver Globe, like not because like on the Civil Globe is kind of different, but like you're watching the start of a civilization happen, which is enough as of a thread to fucking follow along with. In Possession, you can feel like the tension's constantly building up, like you're building up to some like massive explosion. Whereas in this film, it just feels like shit is happening, and like there's no like cause and effect for anything outside of like the family dying at the start of the film. Feels like nothing matters, but also like that's kind of the point of the film, I guess. But like I feel like you could make that argument for like a lot of things.
Yeah, I don't think the film is saying that nothing matters, but it's more just it's like there's nothing really to like. He doesn't really interact. He's very very passive, and that's definitely deliberate. But like it's more, I think, just trying to convey the horror of the whole situation. But it's difficult to attach to that when he's the only person that you can kind of relate to at all, and he's not interacting with any other character at any point. Anytime he is, it's not who he thinks it is.
Yeah.
It's him like trying to navigate different like underground societies to an extent, and like the bureaucracy of like Nazi occupation. And it's more about like him trying to, obviously trying to find familiarity in people that he doesn't know, but he needs to find something to latch onto, but he can't.
Yeah.
But at the same time, neither can we.
Yeah.
As a viewer.
Like we're also trapped, not knowing what the fuck.
You're just confused, which isn't a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
As it isn't for him either,
And it's not like an unpleasant experience where like, you don't have the same. Like it's hard to describe because I would say like watching Possession is not a pleasant watch. Like it's an uncomfortable watch, but this is different. This is unpleasant. Where like I don't feel like the main character or something like that. I can't. Yeah, I don't. There's just something with this film that just doesn't click.
He's just bouncing around.
Yeah. I feel like this
in a really
film,
awful way.
I can like, and also the weird thing as well is like this film has like a lot of rave reviews and stuff like that. And the more that we talk about it, the more I can see why people would, like, if you did latch onto the film, like I can see why people would rave about this film. But because neither of us clicked onto it, man, we're just so similar. We always have this.
It was the same
Yeah,
opinion.
I
It's
know,
so
yeah.
boring.
Like we disagree, but
no, you're dead right. Yeah.
it's it's a film where like I just didn't vibe with the film, It's that thing about vibology,
The science of movie watching.
That secret sauce to this film is just not there for me.
Yeah, Zalewski, shame about your dad and all, but like there's just no vibe to this film.
I just have a vibe with this Holocaust film. Set that out, bro.
Yeah. Because there's pieces there, like the actual like the set, basically,
Each
like,
individual piece of this film I like, but as a whole I don't.
Yeah. Like all the parts are there, but none of them are moving like in concert at all.
Yeah.
Like even the premise, like as we were saying earlier, like the synopsis or the kind of the pitch of the film, it's like this could be anything. Like this could be crazy, feverish, some kind of horror Holocaust film. Even like the idea of the vaccination lab, like the illegal vaccinations.
Oh man, I don't breeze what's going on there.
And it's really hard to understand. It's based on a true story. His dad was in one of those facilities, or participated in them. It's like they employed people who lived under occupation, like specifically Jews and like Poles and stuff, to infect themselves with typhus so that they could develop medical cures for their own soldiers.
Yeah.
Without any regard for the people who are being infected with typhus. Like it's such a horrible thing, obviously in real life. From the perspective of a filmmaker who does like Possession or something like Possession, or specifically Possession, dealing with that subject matter, you feel like he would latch onto it in a more
visceral way.
Yeah, in a way that would make more sense even.
Yeah.
That would really like horrify you, rather than a lot of the scenes it's him, like the scene where he's looking at them through a microscope. And it is like the kind of the scientific aspect of it, like the sterile kind of objective view to the thing. Like I'm not sure what that means, but like I feel like it could have been maybe dealt with a bit more like a more stimulating manner, or in a way that'd be more kind of more visceral way that would appeal to the viewer.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I just don't find this film very stimulating. My taint lacks being tickled by this movie. My movie taint, that is.
This Holocaust film.
Yeah. Maybe I'll cut that out.
Oh God, dearie me.
Dearie me, let me tell you. But anyway, yeah. It's a shame.
It is a shame.
It is a shame. I've heard that like some of his other
Someone
films.
should remake this.
Yeah, someone should remake. He has other films as well that I'm like super intrigued to see. Like he has like this film called The Devils. The Devils, is that what it's called?
Hardly.
Diablo, the Devil. It's also about a young Polish nobleman. Jacob is saved from imprisonment by a stranger. In return, the stranger wants to obtain a list of Jacob's fellow conspirators. As he follows his mysterious savior across the country, Jacob is affected by the overall chaos and moral corruption. He goes insane and becomes a mass murderer. Like, that sounds sick.
Yeah, let's watch that.
Do you want me to tell you? Fucking
We'll give him one more chance.
Yeah, he's got a fucking wild old discography of films. Filmography? That's not discography. Filmography.
Yeah.
Is discography only for music?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Discs.
It makes sense that way. But yeah, what is our recommended film for the next episode, Mark?
Well, our recommended film is Jacob's Ladder, directed by Adrian Lyne, a 1990 film starring our friend Tim Robbins of Shawshank fame, the greatest film ever made, of course.
Of course.
And it's an interesting film that we've never seen. I've heard of. We've both never seen. This would be our episode for Halloween, won't it? Before the last one before Halloween.
Yeah, like our penultimate Halloween episode.
Yeah. So
tough shit that Halloween. I like the way that this podcast works. It's like Halloween lasts 5 weeks. Like October lasts 5 weeks because we will be watching movies for Halloween, and then the episodes will come out after Halloween. But fuck you, we're talking about these movies.
Yeah. It'd be too early to start Christmas movies. So
fuck yeah.
Not that there are any Christmas movies to watch really. So
outside of It's Wonderful Life
and Christmas with the Cranks
and Muppets Christmas Carol. They're the three.
Yeah, that's it. We've ran out of them.
Yeah. Just like Wallace and Gromit, Coraline, and Fantastic Mr. Fox, that are the only three good stop motion films.
So harsh. Let's watch Wallace and Gromit for next one.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I'm definitely watching Wallace and Gromit.
Halloween.
I'm trying to think of other just like this is an aside, but like what are other good stop motion films? Have you seen Anomalisa?
Yeah, I was thinking. I've never seen it, but
it's pretty good.
You said it was good.
Yeah, it is. It's very good. Like
The House was alright.
The House was alright. I forget about that movie.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, like 2/3 of that movie was really good.
Yeah, it didn't really go anywhere, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was alright.
Yeah, it was alright. That first one is fucked up.
Yeah. There's it kind of like it fell down like it went to you know.
Like steps in a house.
Yeah, like the last one was by far the worst.
Yeah, by a mile.
Yeah,
So the reason why it was last. Kubo and the Two Strings is alright. Kubo and the Two Strings is like the best animated, like in terms of animation, the best stop motion animation I've ever seen. The story is dog shit. Really have to emphasize that. That's the fucking story. That story is so fucking bad that it like ruins what should be like a fucking like the best animated film of all time.
Jesus.
Oh man, it's so bad. So bad. Anyway. Great film, but fucking hell, that story's awful. Yeah.
I can't think of any others.
Fuck it. Right.
Call it a day.
Let's call it a night.
I'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.